A little leeway, sowing seeds of inspiration, one idea at a time. Okay, so I wanted to tell this story. I went on a 3-night, 4-day wilderness solo in New Mexico with a group called the Power Path. You can look them up online. It was a magical and amazing experience. And when they set you up with a campsite on their land, away from other people and everything, they will tell you whether or not at that campsite there is a medicine wheel. A medicine wheel is an object that looks kind of like a sundial or a compass that has been created on the ground, showing the directions and creating sort of a sacred circle through which the directions can express. That's made out of, things in the natural surrounding, like rocks and different things like that. So it said that my campsite had a medicine wheel on it. So I was super excited to go check it out. I hiked over to my campsite. I asked permission to be on the land. I set up my tent. I got situated. I, looked around my campsite. We had to stay sort of within a 40-foot radius of where our campsite, the center of our campsite was. So there's not a lot of ground to cover. So I'm looking, and I'm not seeing a medicine wheel, but I'm looking, and then I look down and I see this object that's kind of egg-shaped, a little bit more oval, and it has this like fossilized nautilus shell on it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? And I reach down and pick it up, and it's a rattle. I shake it, and it's a rattle. And I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody who camped here must have left this here before. This is really cool. And it had kind of been over by this tree that had fallen down across part of the campsite. And so I picked up this rattle and I took it over to my tent, and I, played around with it a little bit. And I was like, well, okay, that's cool. Went to sleep, got up the next day, still no medicine wheel. I don't know where the medicine wheel is. And I'm like, I guess I have to make my own medicine wheel. I thought they said there was one. And, I'm going through my morning. I'm doing a little meditating. I'm doing a little prayer. I'm doing a little qigong. I'm starting to finally lose a lot of the toxicity of the city and devices and a schedule, and really starting to feel grounded and settling into nature and feeling pretty good. And so I start sort of walking around my campsite again, and right next to my tent is this fallen tree where I had picked up this rattle. And it took me well into 24 hours to realize that the medicine wheel was under the fallen tree, and the rattle was part of it. And I tell this story because in my mind, I couldn't conceive of the notion that the medicine wheel would be under a fallen tree. I just didn't think to look there. And I even picked up a piece of the medicine wheel, this rattle, from a cluster of rocks without even realizing that the rocks were in a line, in a circle, and were part of the medicine wheel. And so what does this say? I mean, first of all, I laughed for a good while. And then I really saw it as a metaphor for this notion that sometimes we're looking, and because we're not pausing, we're not giving our full attention, we're caught up in our own thoughts and our own patterns of belief about how the world works, that we will miss this sacred thing that is right there. And yes, a tree had fallen across it. But the tree, when a tree falls, anyway, this tree, it was still suspended above the ground by about a foot and a half because of the branches that were jutting into the ground underneath the trunk. It wasn't a big tree. So I could have totally seen the medicine wheel. It was also literally a stone's throw from my tent. But in my mind, a medicine wheel couldn't exist underneath a suspended fallen tree. And not only that, but the one man-made object in this whole campground that I didn't bring had been left there intentionally by another beautiful soul wishing to leave a gift for another. So sometimes we have to shift what we think we know, what we believe, and just get real present and attentive to our surroundings and open ourselves up to the possibility for the unexpected or the intervention of nature into our environment to see that sacred thing that we need to see. So that's my story. Hope you enjoy.